Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families in the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It is. It just is. It's a Saturday. It didn't like replay. I finally got to the place where I could go immediately and stop the damn thing from playing again because it just likes to play, and it didn't play this time. So the intro went well. That never happens.
You didn't mess it up.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you here. Got a bunch of people already.
Boy.
Wow. Yeah. Hi, Chemo and Jilly and Jeffrey, Barb.
I'm not sure what they're talking about. It's a little sketchy,
Melissa,
but hey, it's
Deniz, Jay.
It's all cool.
Yeah, I do have. Everybody's here. Just, but real quick, the card. This is Joe Heller. I'm not certain, but it looked like this was from 2007. Either that or my eyes were going bad. But you know, it would
really.
Stuff's been going on a while, but it's worse. I could have read it wrong. But anyway, I thought this embodied, you know. This basically says it all right there. It's what's going on. And this is just the United States, right? The thing that I'm happiest about, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Deniz. How are you?
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody out there. The thing I'm happiest about is that I didn't predict the catastrophic nature of what's happening to the U.S. to occur now. I thought it wouldn't happen until like 2020.
Right.
So remember, Deniz?
California is just a mess. California is the Mendocino fire, now the largest wildfire in history, and it became that like in a week. You know.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Is that what they're calling the car fire? Is that now the Mendocino fire?
No, that's a new one.
Oh, it's a new one.
Fire.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, car fire is the one up north. So this is on the coast.
Wow.
Mendocino coast. So north of San Francisco. And so yeah, it's I'm all the way down in Santa Cruz. It's pretty smoggy down here.
Yeah, and that's thank you all. That smoke is coming up here too, but it's cooled us down. So yay, global warming. You know, I give up some air quality, but I'm supposed to be in the mid 80s today, as opposed to the high 90s. So thanks, guys. And
that damn socialist smoke.
Shit, yeah. Socialist smoke, absolutely.
Socialist smoke.
Melissa H. Marcus is taking care of his mom. That's what's going on. Mom is in the hospital, and Marcus is in the hospital, and she's not doing well. And so we wish her the best. And
we've not heard from Marcus in a while, so we're just all thinking about him.
Just a few peeps from him in Slack DM, and just saying, I can't do it. So
we don't have nearly as many slides.
No, we just made quick ones. But that's also because it's harvest time here, and I don't have anybody working my farm other than me and Lori. So I got stuff. But I do have slides of some of the products of that labor.
Oh, cool.
We'll talk about that. But anyway, yeah, it's terrible. Sorry to hear. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought the car fire was bigger. Apparently not. That was just the one. But we'll talk more about that. Yeah, Julie Love. Insane. Yeah. It's good thing California's so big because you've basically burned through a state already, right? Any other state? Yeah. Like Rhode Island, toast.
There's still some green area between our fires.
That's good. And some people, apparently. Yeah. Some people, some things. All the wildlife devastation is just...
Yeah. But I live in the mountains with lots of trees around. That same thing could happen right in my neighborhood.
Yeah. And think about it. In timing with the California fires, in timing with the environmental devastation, Tom Perez, DNC, thinking about rolling back the fracking. Well, let's not take... What a perfect... They just... Like
fossil fuel donations. Yeah. And that's only a 2-month-old rule too.
Right.
So that was, wow.
Did anybody even
Did
follow
you
it?
not think we would notice? Maybe you didn't think we would notice.
They totally forget that we have the internet and
Yeah.
social media and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand that
think
at
they
all.
care.
No.
I think they're just doing what they want to do.
Hey,
They're
Eco.
doing what they need to do
Yes,
to get money. That's what they need.
It's
Make me rich, bitch.
crazy guy started SoCal. Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. There was somebody that started one of the fires. I read about that.
Yeah.
That's insane. And briefly, I just want to say, for those of you who don't know, tragic story. Last night there was a plane hijacking in SeaTac, and a guy hijacked. There was no passengers on it. He was a suicidal, just a airline worker, and he hijacked a small commuter. I think it was a prop plane, a C-400 or something like that. And he did some loop-de-loops and flew around for a while and talked to the air traffic control for a while, and then crashed the plane on an island. And I watched. Well, I was listening late last night as the ABC News was reporting on this stuff, which ABC News does a great job of scrubbing narrative when they want. I just want to say they're really good at that. Not one mention of climate change throughout any of this, but you know. No. But anyway, with the distraught guy, the important parts apparently to ABC News were, you know, important things. Nobody was injured other than the guy. He killed himself in the plane crash. But the more important thing is that it was determined this was not an act of terrorism. That was important to distinguish. And of course, airport security is now going to be increased because if you didn't know, and they made this point on ABC, airplanes don't have keys or ignitions like cars. So if you're smart enough to get into the cabin and you can figure out the buttons, you can basically start the jets and go. And this guy was smart enough. I would have used that as part of the reasoning to help him want to save his life. Be like, dude, you were smart enough to hijack and start a plane? You're a badass. Now let's land it and we'll find you a job, probably not in the airline sector, but you have potential. And I would have tried to bring it down. Probably not the way they went with that, though, because, you know. Anyway, just my thoughts. Poor guy. How about bombing bus? Yes, the United States is engaged in an all-out slaughter in Yemen. We're the main weapons salespeople. I didn't really want to talk about any of that sad stuff today. We have other things to talk about, really. World affairs is really Marcus and Deniz, and we don't have any of that put together. I want to just briefly cover what's going on with us before we get into other things. So Marcus is busy caring for his mom. I'm focused on the Map the Money project, which I'm going to talk about. We've got some really exciting stuff going on there. And Harvest. I've got fruit all over the fucking place that needs to be dealt with.
You've got a new acronym? Oh, cool.
Yeah, Map the Money. MTM. It's not MMT, which is going to drive a lot of those people nuts. You're like, no, you got it wrong. No, I didn't. I didn't. Laura and Joe are enjoying some life, basically. Yeah. Progressive Oregon is still going. Progressive Cali is on hiatus, of course. Progressive Washington is on hiatus because Washington is busy winning shit, which we'll talk about. We the People is not sure what to do, honestly.
Hey, we got 2 We the People scheduled.
We do, but the guy who does it isn't sure whether he wants to keep doing it or not, and that's his problem. We're shifting to a long-term media plan, and that is what I'll talk about here. The long-term media plan is that I am always looking at how things have changed, right? We are not Bernie 2016 TV because we don't need to be, right? And we don't need to be as much of a media presence as we were trying to be because there's flies in my garage, one of the reasons, and we're just not equipped to do it, and because there are other independent media entities that are really picking up the pace. As much as I dislike Cenk Uygur, I'm okay with what Rebel HQ is doing because they really are giving a lot of airtime to progressive candidates. And they're having an impact, okay? Not that we don't have an impact, not that I don't enjoy doing our stuff, but in terms of what's most effective and what we can actually accomplish, I've backed off on, trying to broadcast as much as we can and do as many shows as we can because I don't have the time to put them together and we don't have the volunteers right now to do it. We just don't.
And we still don't reach very many people with them.
We don't.
Which is the sad fact.
Yeah.
You know who is regularly kicking ass is Lee Camp. And I really want to, and he's getting greatly squelched, but I really want to encourage folks to check out his broadcast. He posts at least a couple things a day about extremely current events, and his analysis is always pretty spot on. So I would encourage people, him, Jimmy Dore, and Young Turks, at least you get just kind of the straight scoop for some people that we've learned to trust.
Right. There's names that are established. They were fairly established before, but we've seen who's stayed and who's doing the interviews, and you guys know who they are, right?
Yeah, they're the Jon Stewarts,
right?
And you too.
Well,
but
I'm the Catholic Jon Stewart, but I'm for special occasions. That's what Catholicism is for, is to cherry pick your occasions. No, seriously. Whether you like them personally or not, we have a large array of independent media that do attract big audiences, and they are having an impact. And that's what we need to, when you see that consolidate, like where are the people going? Well, they're not going here. So let's not fight that. We're not here to make money, I'm not here to we have to become the biggest independent network. No, we're here to, I don't even want to be doing this. No, we're here to save the planet so we can move on and do other things. I'd rather bake. Personally, I like baking, not just by smoking joints. I like actually cook stuff. Talk about that. So that's my point, is that there's other people doing other things. The data research that we're doing with the Map the Money project is huge. And we're going to go through the primary updates, and then I will talk more about what's happening there and what's our conversations with VoteSmart and access to data. And I'm very excited about this, but that's where we're at. And the reason I'm saying this is because you people are still donating. And I don't want you to think that you're not donating. It's like, well, we're just going to stop doing media, but please send your money. That's not it. We're just shifting focus. Yes, we will do rallies. Yes, we will do more interviews. I'm still open to anybody who wants to come in and volunteer and do a show for their state. Absolutely. What I'm not going to try to do, or what Laura and Deniz and Marcus and us, we're not going to try to do as the core group, is put together all these shows all the time, because we don't have the time. We need to focus on our individual things, right? So that's it. Thank you all for continuing to be here. And those of you who continue to contribute in whatever way it is, we do have a plan. We are doing big things, and I appreciate your continued support. That's where all this was going. It was just to say thank you. Now, Laura, you want to move into... before we go into primary updates, I just want to remind everybody, apparently I said this last week, but it's important enough to remind everybody that Patrick Stewart is returning to Star Trek with a new series.
Hey, that's important news.
That is. It's, so. And now Laura's going to give you guys updates on the primaries, because we have some exciting news.
Yes, we had a killer primary this last Tuesday in Washington, Michigan, and Missouri. Michigan and Missouri, we don't have much to report. David Benak, Marcia Squier, Angelica Earl. Poor Angelica didn't even get mentioned as a candidate in most reports. But Washington, really exciting. Sarah Smith, who we have had on our shows a bunch of times, is advancing to the general. They've got like California, they've got one of the top two. So the incumbent, what's his name? Adam Smith?
Yeah, Adam Smith.
Yeah, Adam Smith, the incumbent. Yeah, and he got 59,000. Now, I'm looking at the New York Times numbers, and hopefully these are updated. These might be a little old, but it's still the same 1, 2, 3. Adam Smith, 59,705 votes. Sarah Smith, 30,856. So she got 25% of the vote, and he got 50. So, and then the other Republican is the only Republican actually is just a couple hundred behind Sarah, but they've called it for her officially. I think we've got the headline.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they did a call, and well, you'll hear it in the video, but this is the first Dem against Dem. Yeah. I think that's what she said. I'm not sure of in Washington.
Yeah, I'm sure that in past it's always been a Dem against Republican. So this is really exciting. And however, the New York Times still has not officially called it, probably because it's so close. But again, these might be older numbers. But we do have a video of Sarah that was filmed actually on Thursday when all of this was imminent. So, but I just liked her excitement, and it kind of mirrors what we were all feeling for her all this week while they counted the votes.
Totally.
Hi! This is Sarah Smith coming at you all live from Washington's 9th District. Oh my gosh, what a day. So this 300 votes up on Doug is huge. We gained over 7,000 votes in this last drop, and that lead is going to extend based off of trends. I feel it in my bones. This next wave is going to extend that lead even farther. We're gaining on the incumbent. That's the big important thing. We are gaining on a sitting congressman. This is historic. This is incredible. It's going to be, I think it's the first Dem-on-Dem race that Washington's 9th has ever seen. So we're trying not to count our chickens before they're hatched. We're trying to be incredibly cautiously optimistic. Did all of my volunteers scream in my living room? Of course we did. Of course I jumped and screamed in my living room. But we are incredibly cautiously optimistic, and we have worked our tails off, and this is still nerve-wracking, but now it's nerve-wracking in a good way. So we're really confident that that league's gonna extend. It's gonna get bigger. So we are just through the moon, I guess. But here we go. We're in this thing. I think we're in it. I can feel it in my gut. I think we're in this thing. Unless something incredibly crazy and unprecedented happens tomorrow, I think we're in this thing. So we'll know tomorrow at 4 p.m. for sure. Sorry this is taking so long. I know a lot of people kind of don't understand a whole lot about Washington's politics. I know it's painful, and I know it takes forever to get all these confirmed, and we don't even get certified until August 21st, which is crazy. But the thing is, this process is really transparent. They're all we're 100% mail-in ballots. So because of the mail and the drop-off schedules and the picking up from the ballot boxes, it kind of staggers the days that we release some of these votes, so they come out in waves. The biggest waves are the first, I want to say, 5 days. So really, we should just be having election night and watch parties on Friday and not Tuesday, I guess. But so we are really confident at this point. We're feeling really good. We're outside of the recount range too, so we're hoping that we maintain this lead tomorrow. I am really, really confident that we were going to maintain this lead tomorrow, and so is my whole team. And we've been on pins and needles this whole time. And I'm sure you could tell I was very tired in my last live stream. So hopefully we're all going to sleep tonight and recharge, and we'll see you back again at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross whatever you got, because there's 24,000 more votes to go. So we can get this lead we can keep this lead, and we can make it bigger. I have total faith in us. Washington is ready. We are ready. Let's do this thing.
There you go.
So we're in this thing seems to be the operative phrase in the Sarah Smith campaign. So I'm so excited for her. This is great. I think she will bring energy like Alex Ocasio did, and that's a good thing.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. I honestly didn't know she had a chance. The Democratic Party had been so against her and really worked hard against her, the establishment, that was impressive. So,
well, if there's any state where she had a chance, it's Washington.
Absolutely.
They've got a great infrastructure and a great support for Bernie-crats there. So that's exciting. And yes, everyone, the Hawaiian primary is today.
Yeah.
We do these segments only on people that we have interviewed before and that we know. And we did not get to have Kaniela Ng on the show, not for a little bit of lack of trying, but I think he's been a little bit busy. He had Alex Ocasio-Cortez out there in Hawaii, something for him this week, and she was amazing. So we'll be interested to see what happens in that race. So coming up Tuesday, the big news on Tuesday is Wisconsin. That is the Randy Bryce and Kathy Myers for District 1, because Paul Ryan is not running again.
Yeah.
And so it's the two of them, and we had both of them on the show, and I wish them luck. It's going to be one of them, because there's if you put on the slide where I've got the number of other candidates on there.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
We've got 5 Republicans running against them. And actually, the site is interesting. This shows how much money has been raised by their respective campaigns. Randy over $6 million, Kathy just over $1 million raised, and Randy was high, right off the mark when he first announced last.
Well, I remember Randy raising like $250,000 off of his video from small donations, and then all of a sudden the DCCC hopped on, and boom, Randy went to the moon.
Some PAC, I should have gotten the link. Katie posted something about the PACs that have contributed to him in the union. So, that will be an interesting race to watch. So that's coming up Tuesday. There are other primaries going on Tuesday. Which ones are they? But we didn't have.
Did you make this? Oh, that's all the primaries.
Yeah, Connecticut, Minnesota, and Vermont are the other 3. Minnesota's Jeff Erdman. He's not on the ballot, unfortunately. So I don't have high hopes for him. So I did not make a card for him. But who knows? That will be great.
So I didn't even think that. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that Paul Ryan's not running. So it's, the best. Did you see these numbers? The closest Republican in there is nothing.
Yeah, 750,000.
My gosh. So I'm surprised. Why aren't the Republicans putting up more of a thing, or do they think they're just going to?
This looks like the race against Nancy Pelosi in California, except it reversed.
Yeah, good on them. Yeah, Randy got a lot from the DCCC. I just want to remind everybody, Randy also got endorsed by Our Revolution. All right. I don't know who else of the large groups.
And Justice Dems.
So he's one of those interesting, he's got union money. His campaign's unionized. He's taking PAC money, but that includes Our Revolution PAC. So is one of those, where's Randy going to ride? Mm-hmm. Is he one of those odd Democrats that's actually going to work both sides, meaning the corporate and people side of things, but stay true to the people? It's just there is that category of Democrat, oddly enough. You know what I mean?
There's the corporate Democrat or the progressive Democrat. Well, so and he's not, but he rides a little bit, but he's, it's not so cut and dried with him. So at this point, I don't live in Wisconsin. I'm going to wait and see. We've got someone else to watch in Wisconsin. Mike McCabe is running for governor. Right. As we just pointed out in chat, he won't take individual contributions over $200. Right. His campaign is people powered. And we've actually got Kendra, I got his video that we're going to play. In fact, that's what's up next. Maybe is that ready?
No, it's not ready. But I don't want to slight Kathy Myers. I think Kathy Myers is a great candidate too. Not at all. Yeah, that was me because I talked a lot about Randy Bryce. We're just talking about his cash. I'm impressed. Yeah. I'm really impressed that Kathy Myers has more than $1 million. Yeah. That's with all the attention and funding that was going towards Randy Bryce. That tells you the kind of a person she is. And what's exciting about this, right? One of them's going to lose. Whoever that is now set to win whatever the hell they're going after next. Yeah. That's.
And I wish we could have seen them debate. And that was a lot. There was a lot of bickering during this campaign about him being kind of, ordained.
Kathy invited him several times.
Oh, there's lots of inviting going on, especially from Kathy's side. And I think,
And they had one debate, and Katie kicked Randy's ass. I watched it live on Facebook.
They did.
Yeah, they had one. They did have one debate, but I didn't realize. Yeah. So you think she definitively won?
He was always dodging, not really clearly stating out what he wanna do, and so in case said, "Medicare for all, 15 had the whole thing," and Randy not really.
So my apologies, bad journalism. They had a debate. Yeah. I wish I could have done it. Yeah. I'll probably find it.
Well, if everybody remembers, we asked the team because we interviewed Randy Bryce well before anybody gave a shit about Randy Bryce. And it was right after his video had come out, and he hadn't really been on all the news yet. And it's too bad we had audio issues, which was totally my fault. But I don't even know where I was going with this. We talking
about? Post says that Kathy's closing in on Randy in the polls, though.
Is she really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah.
I just haven't seen. I'm not getting enough. she's not crossing my feed. You know, she's someone that I follow. I'm wondering if her social media is being squooshed or something like that.
Well,
I'm just not seeing anything about her.
I see her. Listen, so when that all went down and we interviewed Kathy, we interviewed Randy, and then everybody was talking about why he wouldn't debate. There were conversations going on Twitter and DM and stuff. Basically, the attitude of the Randy Bryce team was, you know, if she makes it through the primary, then we'll debate. Whoever does. But they said there's no reason for us to debate now. And I thought that was an asshole kind of a weak.
No, after the primary, it's moot.
Right. That's the point, right? So that, you know, I thought that's a stupid position. I was like, we'll have the debate. We'll be the people, you know, just come on and do it our way. You don't have to have a big old town hall. They did not want to do it that way. Then they had a debate scheduled, and then he backed out of it. And then one occurred. So I just want to say that through all of this, Kathy Myers had been trying to make this happen, and Team Bryce was being squirrely about it from day one, and they knew they had weaknesses. And either way, they're both good, we think, progressives that are going to do things right. So it's a win-win. Anyway, you were talking about Mike McCabe, right? The amazing Mike McCabe.
Yes. Yes, running for governor. We just had him on just a few weeks ago. So we've seen him recently and still impressed with his message. And he's got, this video is a bit longer, but I really like this. This is quite a nice summary of the position, not only of him, but of a lot of the progressive candidates and the people-powered candidates that we admire. Right.
All right, so this is Mike McCabe's video. An interesting comment there. I guess Melissa says Randy's been backing off the progressive policies since I interviewed him.
Oh, what a surprise.
I'd love to have him back on again. My guess is they wouldn't. Come on. We should find out. All right, here we go. Mike McCabe.
I want a government that actually gives regular people a voice and a seat at the table and truly represents them. And I think to do that, we have got to deal with the cronyism and corruption and legal bribery that has taken root in our state. We've got to uproot it. Sometimes the campaign trail can feel lonely when I'm going from town to town and going from campaign stop to campaign stop. But then I come to find out that I'm not alone, that in all these other communities, dozens of communities, there are people working every day, reaching out to their neighbors and talking about how we can shake up and transform our politics and get our government working for all of us and not just those at the very top.
Mike is extremely for economic justice. You'll see a lot of candidates on the trail that are just pro-union, but Mike is, in my opinion, the only candidate who's truly pro-worker.
There are so many common interests between rural and urban people, and we do have the ability to unite people from the country and the city if we practice a politics of unity, and if we get away from the divide and conquer tactics that have been employed to such devastating effect across our state for quite a few years now. Regardless of where you live, whether you're in the country or in the city, one of the huge challenges is just finding work that can keep you in the middle class. That's something that is absent in too many inner city neighborhoods, but it's absent out in rural communities as well. So that's something that is unifying, is just investing in the empowerment of working people and making sure that if you work, you will be in the middle class, a living wage for every worker. That's something that we all have in common. If we embrace this idea that we are all in this together, regardless of where we're from, we don't leave anybody behind, not out in the country, not in the cities. If we embrace that, if we take that to heart, we can make Wisconsin so much stronger.
This is an opportunity for us to turn our state in a very different direction. People used to talk about how they were interested in Mike's campaign. They wanted to support Mike's candidacy. And now they're saying our campaign. That is the best part of this whole undertaking, is they're no longer talking about Mike's campaign, they're talking about their campaign.
Initially, I kind of watched, some news towards the Hillary and Trump election, and I honestly didn't understand what was going on because I felt like the media wasn't telling us what was going on. But after Trump got elected, I started to look into it more and found out that money in politics was a huge issue. So after I learned about that, I kind of just snapped into reality that I've been kind of living in this bubble. And I said, yeah, it's either I'm going to do something about it or I'm going to stand by and let it keep going. Because you can't really complain about the rising school debt, or you can't complain about the rising housing costs or the rising healthcare costs if you're not doing anything to fix it. So that kind of snapped me into reality, and ever since then I've been 100% involved in politics. It's kind of my life at the moment. And I wake up in the morning, I look at articles, and it's really important though. As far as why I'm working so hard is because if I don't, who will? And that's just how I think about it. Nobody's gonna do it for you. You really got to take it into your own hands, and democracy doesn't sleep. So obviously I sleep, but democracy doesn't sleep, so you got to work twice as hard to fix it. And there's a lot of issues that need to be fixed, and it's not going to take, one election. It's going to take the next 10 elections to get this fixed. So this is just the beginning.
We will never get clean air and clean water from dirty politics. We will never get living wages from a dying democracy. We will never get good health care from a sick political system. We will never get anything more than thoughts and prayers from elected officials after each new mass shooting, as long as elected officials are paid to take no other action. We have to deal with that reality. And it starts with leadership by example. It starts with a commitment to winning elections with a different model, not selling out to those big money interests that have a stranglehold on our capital. And if we do that, we can have the Wisconsin that we want.
So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being willing to do this and being willing to talk to your neighbors and your friends and family members and total strangers, because that's what it's going to take. That's what's actually going to get us free of the clutches of cronyism and corruption and legal bribery in our state, and will get us a government that works for all of us and not just those at the very top. So thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Damn right.
You're muted, dear.
I think he covered it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is our update for primaries that are coming up. Farther down in the month, what do we got? 21st, Alaska and Wyoming, which we don't have any candidates that we follow there. And then then the big one is 28th is Florida.
Oh, well, we need to have Tim back on, huh? If we're doing interviews, if they matter.
Well, Tim and Chardo Richardson.
Oh yeah, Chardo and I forgot he's Florida.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it was good. That was the best mic thing. Although there was like several places you could end there, and you could end there.
A little editing would probably tighten that up a little bit, but no, it was good. And I like it. It's grassroots, and it doesn't need to be all slick and said in 40 seconds. So
I may edit one out for him, because that's the kind of they basically cut out a piece of. It's perfect for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, great guy. And do we know where he stands in the polls at all?
No.
Anybody out there, anybody in Wisconsin know where Mike's running in the polls?
Kendra will know.
Because
Tim has endorsed Mike McCabe. Well, that's cool.
Great.
Yeah. So Kendra, how are we in polls? We're not in Wisconsin, so we're not getting them like we should. Let us know.
Let us know. Everybody, I want you to recognize something. Think back to 2016 when people were talking about what do we do now. There's a progressive branch of the Democratic Party. There's a progressive party, right? And it has power, and the establishment is working as hard as it can to discredit that power. You see the articles that are coming out going, oh, the Democratic Socialists. We're actually being called the Democratic Socialists now, which I think is great. right? They lost big. Progressives lost big in the No, we didn't. We actually had some huge wins, and I still believe we're in a better percentage winning than the Tea Party. And that's why they're fighting us so hard. So we've established the Progressive Party, or whatever you want to call it, Dem Socialist Party. It exists. It's a coalition of people. It's a coalition of organizations. The cohesiveness has started to form, right?
And we're starting to get wins here and there. Like Rashida, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Tlaib, who was the first Muslim that just got elected.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her name either. I haven't been paying attention to all these wins because I've been busy with the data.
I hadn't even heard of her until she won. I was like, oh, right. Yeah. Right on. So there you go.
We're doing it. Where's Bernie's hat? It's in sight because I've been wearing it.
Probably you've been borrowing it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been wearing it because Bernie's, I need it.
And Bernie's inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So they said all Alexandria candidates lost, but that was I mean, they're making up shit. They're making up shit now. They don't know what to do. They're just making up crap. Right. And the whole and their world doesn't work with the progressive movement, right? The whole Ben Shapiro and her response to that, which was perfect, Yeah. And on Twitter it was like somebody said, it's interesting that he's got 10 grand to, most of us are trying to survive. And he was this dick face with 10 grand. Hey, I'd like to debate you. Fuck you, Ben.
Wasn't he paying attention? She doesn't take big donations.
Right. And I love that she called it a cat call because it's basically what it was. And why he thinks he deserves a response was great.
Okay, so Kendra, he's polling 4 to 7%. What, down?
Well, 4 to 7% in
total.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Clarify that. I mean, do we have a chance? I hope we have a chance. That'd be nice.
Ooh, sorry, Brom, that the Green Party of Orange County has been disbanded.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Hit with a massive fine for a technical error in our charter's paperwork and enforced. Oh.
Yeah, that sucks. Here, people just started looking at me. Let's put everybody up on here. I'm just reading comments. Hi. Man. How y'all? So they're fighting hard. Hi, all 39 of you. This is the battle. This is what the Tea Party was doing, right?
Yeah,
fighting these battles.
Also,
what?
Yeah, but it's also a fight in the long run. Don't expect to win in the near future and be disappointed. This is a fight for the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah, we've got many, many, many years.
If you watch on Twitter, oh God, our candidate didn't win and all this stuff. Guys, keep cool, keep doing the work. Yeah. You will win in the long run.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I'm young, I know.
You've got a halfway decent government, even though, they could use some improvements. Yeah. But at least you got, healthcare over there. I was telling Deniz that I need an apocalypse now. Not, to talk about the movie, but like I'm older. Laura's older. We can't wait 10, 20 years for, this shit to get together. So with climate change the way it is, I was figuring there would just be I need next couple years, just a big massive apocalypse so that we can start rebuilding the planet with the people that are left. And then we can go the whole Star Trek First Contact route. And hopefully some aliens will come down and they'll be nice. And I'll work on warp drive with some friends and we'll have it down. We'll have it down.
Oh,
let's do it. I'm glad
you have a plan, John. That's good.
You said you would go up to Albany with a couple of friends, invent the...
I'm not joking.
And...
Listen.
And in a couple of years, the volcans will come down, and
It's you know what? There's more factual basis for my fantasy than there is for Christianity. I'll just lay that down right there.
Well, there you go.
So
okay, I'll buy that.
Just lay that down right there because I actually exist, and so does the lab. There's a Department of Energy special lab here in Albany, and so that's where I would go to build the warp drive with whoever was left. So see, that's my fantasy. That's how I want to see things play out. All right.
What is with the time traveler?
Oh look, Larry showed up in the middle of the show. It's Larry here.
Should we put him on camera?
I can't really. I mean, he's just here. just going to sit down. He brought a box of shit.
Oh, he's there in person.
Yeah, like physically here. Larry is physically here.
Wow.
This is going to be weird. I got Larry looking over my shoulder. It's like my boss in some weird way. Anyway. Okay. You missed my entire how we're saving the Earth. I'll have to tell you later. I got to build a warp drive, but first we have to have an apocalypse. It's all part of the UHM plan. Just
the UHM creed. Okay.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
Tell us about Oregon 2020.
Okay, I'm trying to set up the graphics here. Okay, so there's an update on the Oregon 2020 thing. We've been really trying to get data. We know what we need to do with the data. We've come up with some models that show us what we need to see in terms of mapping the money. But in order to get the amount of data that we need in an organized way that we can use for code, we have to pull it through their API. VoteSmart, I didn't know this, likes to charge a lot for their API access the way we really want it. A lot. $2,500 a year. Which I want to raise that amount because when we have everything, we will be able to, I think we'll be able to get that. I mean, I think the project that we're doing is important enough that it's worth going there. Anyway, the team that we're working with, we figured out what we need to grab from the API. I went in there and became a member and then didn't understand that the amount I had paid was not nearly enough and got into a conversation with this guy named Jacob from VoteSmart who explained, silly guy, if you want that kind of access, it's a lot of money. Anyway, they're really cool and understood what we were doing in our project and gave us access through the end of August to use the scripts we need to grab the data we need in the format that we need to build the website, which is mapthemoney.org. We got that URL. Thank you, Larry. And then we're going to visually represent the first prototype of how to see where the money goes and how it affects votes, which is going to be the Oregon U.S. House. All right, that's the first prototype. Once we can show you that and build media assets from it that we can use for campaigns against those particular individuals, which is one of the major points of this, I'm hoping that we can gain the interest of other organizations that'll be like, yeah, we'll chip in a few bucks every year for that to exist, and then we can get other people involved to build out these maps for all of the candidates in Oregon and then carry it on to other states. It's going to be very valuable for our progressive movement so that our candidates have ammunition, right? Or facts, or whatever you want to call it. You know, we're in a war. Larry doesn't like the term targets. I don't either. But really, we're targeting these people because they've targeted us, right? We're just a profit number. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's really cool. Hopefully we'll have a prototype to show by sometime in September. And we're going to rate every politician. Larry has a great rating scale that he just sent me, and we're going to work on that. I like it. It's very creative. And that's what we're going to do. So that's what I've been working on. That's why we haven't been done as much broadcasting, because I've really been digging into the data. And what you guys don't know is before this, I was an inventory control guy, operations guy, and I spent a lot of my time buried in spreadsheets, and I really enjoyed it. So this has got me all sorts of, excited. So Brom says, if I do a monthly donation to UHM on the website, does it get added to the one I already have set up? Where do you have one already set up? I don't know. You should be able to. And we're back. That was just a complete drop. I have no idea what y'all missed. Maybe it's buffering.
No, I did it. It was just a tiny hiccup. Looks like
that was weird. It's Mike Pence. What? Space farce. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've seen some of the best ones with the pew pew logos are pretty.
The logos are hilarious.
But the ones that he wants that he was actually putting out for people to look at
are hilarious.
Well, hilarious. They're like, here's NASA's logo with Space Force put in there.
It reminded me of, I was like, what, did these come from Hanna-Barbera? It's like, let's do a fucking cartoon. Anyway, we're not here talking about. He believes God will protect the USA, and why do we need Space Force? There's all sorts of questions about why we need Space Force, everybody. My favorite was from NASA, like, that's what we do.
Yeah, right?
You know, we have a Space Force. They're focused on science, not blowing shit up in space. It's an amazing, amazing concept. Anyway, I'm excited about what we're doing with Oregon 2020. That was the whole point of that little conversation, and we'll be doing more with that. And maybe doing more broadcasts later, but right now we got to focus on this. So thank you all for your continued support and donations on that. And I look forward to showing you something really amazing in September that we've done with mapthemoney.org. Keep that go to that domain and look every once in a while. There's nothing there, but there will be something there. All right. Just real quick on some happy notes in the environment. Monsanto finally been ordered to pay what to it would be like pocket change, $289 million in the world's first Roundup cancer trial. That's all going to one dude, and I hope he just builds an army to take down Monsanto even more. That's wonderful. Judges seem to be doing a lot of good, which is odd, at least in corporate realms. That's good. I thought this Intercept title was great. How bad are things for the GOP? A Democratic House candidate got 30,000 write-in votes in Michigan. Okay. He wasn't even on the ballot. Now he's primarying, or he's in the thing against the Republican guy. That's funny.
Wow.
That's funny. It's not looking good. I have to make a correction. We open the door. I think Milo's trying to come in, Larry. This is fun because now I don't have to get up. When Milo or a cat wants to come in, I can have Larry do it. You got to come down more, Larry. And there's blueberry muffins in the kitchen. Anyway, I saved one for Larry. Okay. Remember I showed you this picture? I think I showed you this last week.
Yeah,
this was the picture. Sad. He's like, who the hell are you? Milo, come here. I know it's Larry. He's not scary. Come on. Come on. Milo. If he doesn't, come on. There we go. All right. All right. While you look at this picture, this is not a fire.
Is that the lava?
No, none of those things. That's just a nice sunset from a plane looking over Hawaii.
Okay.
This was pushed on the internet as a picture of the car fire from the air.
That's right.
It is not. And this is why I watch the Weather Channel, because they do more reporting on the news than the news. Unfortunately, this is the screen capture I grabbed. I don't know why it was all shaky with my camera, explaining that it's not the car fire and that it's just a sunset from Hawaii.
Great shot.
I know, it's terrible.
That really explains it all.
That's the car fire.
That's a fire.
Or, that's one of the fires. I just wanted to make sure. And there are some amazing shots of giant jet airliners flying really low and dumping orange shit.
Yeah. And
it's just amazing. I was thinking, if you want a job as an airline pilot, that's the fun job. Getting to fly 747s at low altitude. I would. Yeah, you're putting out fires, but fun. What, Deniz?
Is this real?
Yeah, that's real. See, when you've screwed your environment so much that you have to bring in jet planes to help put out fires, that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
My daughter, there was a fire in she had to evacuate for work in Southern California, and the shots of these big jetliners just 50, 100 feet above the ground.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. But
it's also American style, big planes and so on. Yeah.
Imagine the amount of fuel.
Yeah.
That's just being burned up in a freaking, it's just. Anyway, I wanted to bring up another point. The Cal inmates or Cal slave system, they have a Twitter account, is bragging about the fact that they've got prisoners that are putting out these fires. I want to make it clear, there are prisoners fighting fires, some youth prisoners fighting fires, okay? By their own choice, of course. Well, if you had a choice between sitting in a fucking box and drinking toilet water or going to fight a fire, I think I'd pick fire. So they're making an hour a day and sometimes $2 a day. They do all the firefighter work. They're trained as firefighters. When they come out, they could be firefighters, except they're not eligible to be firefighters because they have a prison record and fire departments won't hire them. That is a complete.
They paid $1 a day.
Yeah, $1 a day. I think they get overtime pay or something.
Or $1 an hour.
Oh, maybe it's $1 an hour. I don't know. It's fucking bullshit pay. It's slavery.
Yeah.
It's slave labor. This is slave labor. Yet here they are on Twitter bragging about, bragging about how great it is that we have prisoners doing this. They should all just be removed. Go take a job with the fucking fire department right now. That's that's reformative justice. That's rehabilitating people. Dude, you're already working a job. Great. Here you go.
Oh, and Jilly points out they promised them reduced time in jail, so it's really coercion.
Right, they did. I read that they promised them reduced time in jail. I saw that, but it's like, really? What, Dennis? You're like crying to say something. What do you want to say?
I have two questions.
Yes.
Are those prisoners from private prisons? And
of course, they're all private prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do they get a compensation from the state then for this kind of work?
That's what I'm saying. They get paid $1
$1 a day or $1 an hour.
Whatever it is. What did it say? $1 an hour. So that's huge. I'm sorry, it's not just a day. But,
So it's indirectly taxpayer money, that basis.
Well, yeah. That we should just be paying them as firefighters and a hell of a lot more. It's cheap slave.
We're already
labor.
paying $30,000-$40,000 a year for each inmate, right?
That's true.
Something like that.
It's all going to the corporation. How much actually gets to the inmate is, that's private prisons for you.
Oh, and does the prison get paid? That's interesting. Is the prison getting approached and saying, "Hey, can you provide us for a bunch of workers? We'll pay you this much," and then they pay the workers?
That's what I.
That's of course that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, of course that's what's happening with
Yeah,
all of it.
That would be here.
Contracts and deals and stuff.
That would be criminal here in Germany.
Yeah, and they're still denied votes after. Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, exactly, Melissa. Yeah, exactly. You guys got it. They're out. Yeah, everybody in chat's got it. Double dipping. Blah blah. Yeah.
In Europe, prisoners have the right to vote. Doesn't matter what sentence or what crime they did, they don't lose it.
That's socialists.
I know.
It is. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's just Yeah, I don't know how much they're making off that. A lot of money. You would think they'd be guaranteed work. You would think our veterans would also be guaranteed work. I mean, come on. Anyway, if we move beyond that, none of us should have to be working. Really. We're at a point where we shouldn't be. But we're still grasping with climate change and stuff. I gotta show you this. This is my favorite cartoon ever about climate change. This is exactly how I feel. It's just 5 steps to beat the heat. I don't care if you read the cartoonist who was the guy that put this up. He's hilarious. It says, first you got to close your windows and shades at dawn. Stay hydrated and stay indoors. And use that time to learn as much as you can about theoretical physics. Apply that knowledge to engineer a practical method for bending space-time and travel to the past when society still had a chance to stop climate change. And he's yelling at the 70s guy. My favorite, you guys don't, this even better. I posted this or reshared this in Facebook. And Jim Lockett, I believe, and a couple other friends of mine were immediately said that's a Datsun something something something.
Identified the car.
I'm like, how the fuck do you know that?
That's a very distinctive back end for a 70s car.
Apparently so. I mean, the dude is hilarious. Shut up, nerd. Yeah. It's like,
I mean, it reminds me again that's that segment on the newsroom that you always liked, where the scientist sounds like, well, if we could have started this 20, 30 years ago, maybe we'd have a chance. But no, pretty much we're toast now.
And even funnier, it should have been a Datsun. Because I want to remind everybody, well, nobody remembers this, back in the early 80s, when Americans started buying, or I should say late 70s, started buying more of these foreign cars, they were made fun of for being more fuel economical and not as muscly and badass as American vehicles. They were lighter, they were less expensive, they were more fuel efficient, right? And that was the big, well, you just don't want that. They were basically comparing cars with dick size for guys so that they could, you just don't want a tiny penis, right? I mean, car, right? So just a reminder. There were sports cars in the realm too, but basically the average American was like, wow, you were shunned on if you were picking up a non-American vehicle that was actually more fuel economical at that point. So just a reminder. I want to show you this real quick. This is more Weather Channel stuff. I come in all the time and I just take pictures to Weather Channel screen.
This one's better than the last one.
Yeah, well, this one, yeah. Notice what they didn't put on this. There's no mention of climate change, but they did say that the blue-green algae forms due to agricultural runoff. Okay.
Oh, there. Okay. That's skirting the issue.
Right. And the red tide forms naturally.
Yeah.
Not because the ocean's warmer.
No.
And it's true. Red tides happen naturally. That was, the whole... I thought that was the coolest thing when they realized that the red tide and the whole Red Sea and red thing is tied back to the biblical when it happened. They're like... Anyway, it's really cool. It's amazing how much science can explain all the mysteries of faith in the Bible. Just go in there.
Uh-huh.
What else did I have in here? That was it. Oh, now we're on last week on UHM. That's fun. And we got to get through this quick because it's like 10:59 and Larry's still... Oh, Larry's on his phone. He doesn't care. No, he doesn't care. He's sitting over there in the corner. All right. I got a story. I wish I could put Larry on. He could tell this story, but Larry's going to hear me tell the story, and he's probably going to feel like that's not totally accurate. But that's all right. I'm going to tell this story. Last week on Progressive Oregon, Larry talked about the upcoming State Central Committee meeting, which I think Larry's going to today at some point, and then tomorrow. So what was interesting about this wasn't the preview. It was that he discussed some of the scenarios that were likely to occur and why. Some of these scenarios had to do with, actually all of them, had to do with improper procedures, a parliamentary procedure, Robert's Rules of Order, and what the bylaws say versus the Rules of Order, and blah, blah, blah. All right. So Larry was discussing one of these particular issues, and it happened to be credentialing, which is when a person shows up to a meeting and they're supposed to be credentialed so that they count, meaning they're a member of the assembly and they can say, I move, or they get to vote, their voice matters. Right? And there was an issue with showing up late and not being allowed to be credentialed, which is against the rules, but somehow it had just become the standard practice. And now Larry was going to address this at the State Central Committee meeting because he knows his shit, and a bunch of other people were like, yeah, this is wrong. And when Larry discussed that all on the show Sunday, I mean, there may have been 20 people watching, and the show might have had maybe 40 people watching by the next couple of days. It's not like there was a lot of people watch the show. I think it got 100 views at some point. But it's interesting because there was an email exchange that happened after the show that indicated that the DPO had a solution already for this credentialing issue that would resolve the issue before it became a big issue at the SCC meeting, which basically indicates that the DPO watched the show. Ooh. And that's powerful. And I'm not going to mention names, and I'm not going to go into any of the details because I think it's great. I'm not dissing anybody. I'm just saying this little old network, this little old program that got maybe 20, 30 views, got the attention of the DPO because that's what it does. Because we're talking the truth. Because now this information is here and can be shared, and that probably scares them. Or if nothing else, it lets them know people are paying attention. You're not going to slide anymore. You're not going to get away with your bullshit. And we're going to bring this Democratic Party of Oregon back into really being in line with the values and not the additional bullshit you added in to cover your own asses at the top, which is what this is about. If we don't pay attention to what's going on with the people at the top, they rewrite the rules to make sure they stay at the top. And then it's really a bitch to get them out of there. And that's basically the federal government, right? And we have the same problem at the top of all of our governments. And we're making massive headway. So kudos to Larry and the Progressive Oregon show and everybody that's been involved in Oregon politics, because you've been putting pressure as progressives on the Democratic Party of Oregon, and it is feeling that pressure. And that's all good. This is how democracy works. It should be uncomfortable, and it should be moving. It should not be static. So, well done. That was that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And what's next? Oh, you want to talk about Jamie?
Yeah, we've got Jamie McLeod-Skinner is going to be on We the People. I just remember we don't have her song yet, so I need to remind her campaign about that. She's the one who we interviewed McCrary and blanked on his name again. The other guy in CD District 2, but Jamie was the actual person who won. So she has won her primary and is on her way to the general. So we're going to talk to her what her plans are. So CD2, if you remember, is like the entire eastern half of Oregon, very rural, very large district. And we are looking forward to talking to her. We spoke to her briefly on the primary night when she won and kind of got her to tell us a little bit about herself, but we want to learn a little bit more. And we'll be following her into the general.
Yeah. Larry interviewed her. I just realized Larry can't hear anything else but me. It's got to be a horrible show to pay attention to. Yeah. So, Larry actually had a brief conversation with Jamie McLeod-Skinner. And I'm looking forward to that conversation because I'm looking forward to talking to her about her views on healthcare.
Do we have the new card that says the right date on it?
That's not the... God damn it. No. I don't know. I thought I did. Shit. That's not the new card. What is the right date's the 13th? I do have it somewhere. I just got it. Yeah. It's on Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday. All right. Thank you, Laura.
And then the following Monday on the 20th, we have Sonia Avery, who is running for an assembly district in Southern California. And she is Indian and queer and progressive.
Yes.
So she will be, that's her words, her campaign's words. So, anyway, so be it. We'll have more information for her next week.
Awesome. We don't have a card. I don't think we do have a card for that. I didn't load it in, but I think I do have one. Didn't he make one for that?
I think Ash made one. I gave him a picture.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
we do. So we've been, and you're reaching out to some other folks. We just kind of every once in a while, I'm like, hey, you should talk to, but
yeah. I'd love to get Sarah on once she comes down off of her cloud.
Yeah, that would be great.
Give her give a little time to settle in, and then really right now that Oregon, California, and Washington have all had their primaries, those being our Western Wall and our main focus these days. It'll be interesting to start putting together some shows about like the path to the general. And with the way has cleared. A lot of players are out. We can focus more fine on the ones who made it through.
Yes,
I'm excited about them.
Exactly. That's cleared the field, and now it's focused on other folks. I mean, we want to see Jamie McLeod-Skinner win as opposed to Greg Walden, right? But then I want to push her agenda farther left. Right. Thanks, Brom. That was nice of you.
Just because I love the show. Thank you.
That's nice. Appreciate that. And then lastly, in upcoming what is this, tomorrow? No, we're not. This is next week, because tomorrow you're going to be at the thing. Larry's going to be at the thing. Next week, and this is after the Progressive Oregon show, which will talk about what happened at the SCC meeting. All sorts of dirt going down there, so we'll have fun with that. We have Robert's Rules of Order subsidiary motions. Is that right, or is it? No, it's supposed to be privileged motions. We did these. It's privileged motions, everybody. I grabbed the wrong damn card, so ignore that. I have no idea what makes these motions privileged, but that's why Larry's teaching us, so join us for that one. It's actually not as horrifically boring as it sounds, believe it or not. It's interesting stuff. Larry does a good job making it interesting. Thanks, Jilly. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jilly.
Yeah. Can't wait for the Florida primaries. Yeah, we got that one coming up, Trisha. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can get Tim back on and Chardo. And who else? Mm-hmm. Is that it? We got Tim and Chardo out there.
Those are the two that we interviewed, yes.
Yeah, we'll get them out there. That'll be great. All right, I'm just going to show you this. If we can get $5,000 a month raised for UHM, which, basically what you guys got to do is share this with 5,000 of your friends.
And have them donate as you do.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Environmental Coffee House. You guys are doing great work. Lots of love. Thank you very much. If we put this in a building, and then I could be like an executive producer, and we have other people that are running shows, and that frees up my time, and I will bake. I will take stuff. I'll bring it in. We'll always have goodies around the office. And so I just want to show you. This is my blueberry crumb cake, and it turned out pretty well. I make a goddamn good blueberry crumb. We have blueberries around. These are my blueberry muffins.
Oh,
Okay?
man.
So I'm telling you, there's a good reason. There's a good reason to do this. Help raise the money, and then anybody, any volunteer, anybody that's donated money can always drop by UHM, and there will be baked goods, and there will definitely be cannabis. So those are the two things that we will have there. Ooh, and we're just kicking up the donations. Thank you, Density McCartney.
Density. Thank you.
See,
and LaCroix, and lots of LaCroix water.
Yes, we'll have LaCroix water. And it'll be in the interior design by Laura Livengood, so you know it'll look nice. Yeah. Just saying. That's it. Yeah.
That's our show.
That's it.
No more baked goods. How's the jam going? Do we have jam?
I have so much to work. There's new plums coming out right now.
The yellow ones?
That's not infused real, but it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
It could be.
That crumb cake is basically an East Coast. My cooking prep. So there's like East Coast food and West Coast food. Okay. East Coast food is, in my view, more about tasting good and not necessarily healthy, but goddamn, it tastes good, and that's what fucking matters. West Coast food is the opposite. We're going to make it healthy first, and if it manages to taste good, great. Like, fucking West Coast pizza is shit. I don't know who came up with this brick oven, thin paper crust pizza shit with chicken and avocados on it, but that's not pizza. Okay?
What?
The East Coast pizza, greasy, hanging, pepperoni, dripping, that's pizza. All right? So my recipes are East Coast. I get most of my baking recipes from King Arthur Flour. If you're not familiar with King Arthur Flour, you should look them up. They're in Vermont. And I buy their products even though we have Bob's Red Mill out here, which is an Oregon local flour company. But their fucking recipes are all pretentious crap. They're just like healthy. And even when you get a healthy baked good out of King Arthur Flour, there's enough unhealthy in it to make it taste good. So I'm just so there. That's just, in other words, I will be baking mostly shit that tastes good. It'll be East Coast food, just to be clear. So I just had to cover that. It's important.
Okay. It is important.
It's important.
Now I'm hungry.
Everybody's hungry? Well,
yeah.
Larry's going to get a blueberry muffin because he's here. And there's some inside right now. You're all welcome to them. And I do say that. Anybody that volunteers, anybody that supports the show, you want to come by the house, you want to come by, hang out, grab fruit. We got lots of stuff coming out right now. info@uphillmedia.org. I'm in Albany, Oregon. Love to see you. Drop on by. It's an open house. We're going to get out of here with, it's getting harder and harder to find music. And so I'll just say this again. Anybody that has a connection with independent artists that are politically motivated, that write songs that are relevant to the times, that are interested in having their songs played, that have control of their content on the internet, I would love to promote your stuff. Don't care who you are. Get me a recording of it and we'll use it. You know, I need some music to play because basically all of the mainstream music that I used to be able to use is now being shut down.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, stuff that like I was looking up the other day. Ben Harper's My Own Two Hands. It used to be played all the time. Nope. Not anymore. And so my library, the library that Marcus built is no longer valid at all. It's just, they've really changed it. If the artist doesn't actually own the rights, it's not playable anymore. So hopefully this works. This is from, this is the old Cosmos. And this is my favorite Carl Sagan thing ever. It's not Melody Sheep, although that I could probably still play. But this is Pale Blue Dot because that was Larry dropping his things. You can move that shit and use the table, Larry. I'm sorry. You should have done that. This table with all this shit on it. Yes. I've played this before, and hopefully this won't get shut down for copyright because it's the old version. But it just reminds you how remarkably insignificant we are. And everything that our species continues to murder each other over is so fucking petty and remarkably insignificant and stupid. And if we're ever going to be a species that deserves to continue, we have to figure that out. And Carl Sagan knew that, and it's really depressing to live on this earth, even though we've got a group of people that know this. You know, you guys out there, and Deniz, and everybody, you know, our friends, we all know this, but we're a minority. We're a minority.
Yeah.
And that's the crushing truth, is that we're a minority. We're a pale blue dot.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.